Hey everyone, it's Victoria here, and I'm so happy to be joined by shooting instructor and loader extraordinaire Hatty Hosegood. Hatty is the ultimate boss lady when it comes to game shooting, and she spends her seasons loading on some of the finest shooting estates in the country. In this mini masterclass, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what loading is, the responsibilities of a loader, why you need a loader, and what to do if anyone wants to become a loader. So, Hatty, really good to have you here. Before we get going, I'd love it if you could just tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, of course. So I got into shooting when I was about 14. I had a lesson with my dad and really enjoyed it and went from there, really. And then when I left school, I went to work in one of the shoot lodges on Exmoor.
Nice.
Was supposed to do a season for, one season, and I stayed there for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And then thought shooting something that I really enjoy. Did my instructor's course and then went on from loading there. And I'm on my 5th season now, I think it will be coming up. And I've been an instructor for 6. So
Wow.
yeah.
I know you're like a massive hit with our ladies when we've done events, and everyone just really wants to be in your group because you've like kind of just way about you, and so you always get really positive feedback. And how cool as well that you had your first lesson with your dad.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, he was into his country pursuits, but never really done much shooting. So he started his shooting, and it was something I was interested in, and we did it together. So yeah, it was great, and he still shoots now. So
brilliant. Do you coach him now?
His work, but try. It's easier just to keep quiet, actually.
Yeah, good plan. Right.
Yeah.
So for those ladies watching who perhaps are new to game shooting, can you just tell us what a loader actually does?
Yeah, so basically you're there to load the guns, whether it's one gun or 2 guns. You're in sole charge of the guns for the day. You're standing with them on each drive, loading their guns to make sure that they're not having to concentrate on loading the guns. They're concentrating on shooting and not having to worry about anything that's sort of other than in the sky. And you're basically there to make their day as easy as possible.
So you're a bit like their safety officer and their personal assistant and their gun loader, would you say? So,
yeah. Safety obviously is a massive thing in game shooting, because you've got beaters out in front of you, you've got people behind you. There's people everywhere, so you've got to make them aware of where other people are. Sometimes you've got someone who's done so much shooting that you just need to give them a little hint. Others, from a complete novice, you really need to sort of nail it down from the first minute, and explain everything what's going on. And some people like going really fast, so you have to really go for it. And others just like a leisurely day out and will shoot. They always say shoot what gives you pleasure, and that's different for everyone.
So it's a really big thing shooting game for the first time. I remember my first day really well. I always like to recommend that novice ladies have a loader or instructor with them for the first time. So aside from physically loading the gun and keeping you safe, what else in your mind do loaders kind of bring to the table?
So if it's your first time, it's really important to be happy and confident within your first day. So if you've got a loader that's quite confident and knows exactly what they're doing on that shoot, knows all the drives, it's really handy because they can tell you where the flushing point is. They can tell you, well, any loader will tell you if the bird's too low, if it's in your window. Obviously you don't want to be stealing your neighbour's birds. And if you've never shot before, it can be quite daunting. So it's really nice to have someone who's there to just give you a bit of a confidence boost, really.
Brilliant. Yeah, just like a nice bit of reassurance. I think, you guys and what you do is so important, especially for those ladies who are just starting out. Well, and, and those.
Yeah, well, you get it in. Yeah. As well.
Yeah. In fact, I bet that worse, aren't they?
Yeah, sometimes yeah.
Amazing. So say for instance, there's a lady who's booked her first game day. She's ready to go. She knows what she's doing, and she's thinking about getting a loader. What kind of characteristics, or what is she looking for in a loader?
Definitely got to be a people person. There's nothing worse standing on a peg with someone who doesn't speak. It's fine from a loader's point of view, but I would say from a gun's point of view, you want someone who's going to make you feel comfortable, relaxed. So, as I say, especially if it's your first day, and someone who's just going to have a bit of fun, but also knows what they're doing, because that is the most important. And if you're out for the first day and you want to ask questions that you might not feel comfortable asking someone that's maybe a bit sort of standoffish, so you want someone that you're comfortable with, and no question's a stupid question. A lot of people generally don't know, and if you haven't been beating or you haven't been picking up or anything like that, you're not going to know. So it's nice to have someone who will be able to answer any questions you have, really.
Yeah, I agree. I've had one of those loaders that just didn't say anything. He just stood there and was like, just passed me my gun, and I was like, oh God, why did I get this one? And it was, it just really took the enjoyment away, and I was a bit like, oh.
It does, and it's nice to have someone if you've got a bit of a quiet spell that you can have a bit of a chat with, and that they guns tend to want to know what you do and things like that, and it's nice to and that's how you build your clientele, really.
Brilliant. And game shooting isn't just pulling the trigger, isn't it? It's like everything that goes on, so like the dogs and the whole occasion and everything.
Completely. Yeah, it's down to, as you say, it's down to the picking up, the beaters, even the lunch. The lunch makes such a difference to some people, whereas some people are there for just the shooting. It's a whole day. It's not just shooting. And having a nice loader, I personally think would make a big difference.
Yeah, 100% agree. Amazing. So when you're in the field looking after someone, there's a lot of responsibilities we've kind of covered earlier on, but how do you kind of deal with that, and what are you looking out for? Because you must have like a lot of plates spinning in terms of like safety and
key thing is obviously safety. Some people don't realise that it's unsafe. If you're stood in quite a deep valley and you've got trees up above you and someone's following a bird down into the trees, you've got to have the confidence to say no, that's too low. And the first year, it does scare you sometimes, but you just got to do it because it's the most important thing, and there are people out there. So safety is a massive thing. So also the guns is a big thing. If something malfunctions or you get a dodgy cartridge, you've got to keep your head level, because there's still going to be hundreds of birds coming over you. So if it's just one gun, you can give them one gun while you're sorting out the other one. They can load for themselves. Another massive thing is make sure you take enough cartridges. Cartridges are all down. It's down to the loader to make sure they've got enough for each drive. And when you run out, it can be embarrassing. So yeah, that's a huge thing. And again, if you've got a novice, you've got so much to look for, because they don't necessarily know what they're doing. They may be safe, but they don't know how a day runs. So you've got to explain to them, some shoots start on a whistle, some shoots don't. So you're live on your peg. Some finish with a horn, some finish with a whistle. Picking your pegs, also all that sort of stuff really is important, because it just makes the day run smoother. So you're there to help them do everything, really. And if they get something wrong, at least you're there to help them through it. And as I say, you're there to help. Questions, anything, makes a big difference.
You're so good, you guys. You just really are. You are,
a lot of pressure.
I can imagine.
Especially with the maybe slightly higher importance clients. I've had some famous people, some royals, things like that, and you've just got to treat them like they're the same as everybody else. It can be hard sometimes.
Fangirling.
Yeah, exactly. You've just got to deal with it. They're no different to anyone else.
That's it. And how you kind of like hone your kind of people skills. Like, I think it's a real kind of art, because you need to gauge people and be like, oh yeah, you could talk to like a certain client about something, and you've just like how you guys kind of interact. Well, as a shooting instructor as well, you need to get a read on people, don't you? And I think that's
completely. And I tend to use the first drive to judge if they want to talk to you. Sometimes they don't. They just want to be there and enjoy their shooting, and you're there to do a job, which is totally fine. Mm-hmm. Others, you can't shut them up, which is great as well. So yeah, you kind of got to judge what they're all about. and I've got several clients of my own now, which I go around country with, which is great. And they quite like having you there because they know you, and it might be a new shoot to them, which is it's nice to have a face that they know, which I think is a lot of reason why they take their own loaders.
So I know you have loads of experience in loading and instruction, and you've kind of touched on your kind of route to where you are now earlier in this video. But could you just tell us about kind of professional training that you had to kind of enable you to get where you are?
Yeah, so I obviously did my instructor's course, which covers loading, double gunning, and single gunning. But there are several courses that you can do out there. There's the NGO, so National Gamekeepers Association.
Right, okay.
They do a really good course. Lantra, which I think they're all day courses, and I think Basque do one as well. So if you just Google them, but a lot of, especially the bigger states, won't have you loading unless you've got that bit of paper because it's of safety reasons. And it's also really important to get insurance. The guns you're dealing with, some of them are really, really expensive. And if, God forbid, something happened, it fell out the slips, etc., etc., it's just really important to have insurance just to cover your back, really.
And is that insurance more expensive than, say, the insurance we have as shooters?
I think it's about 120. I pay 120 a year.
Well, okay, so it's
not too bad, and that's quite good in insurance. It'll cover you for quite a vast amount, I think. So.
Oh, that's lucky.
So not that you want to damage anyone's guns,
no,
but it's and guns do break in your hands as well. So you're loading and you break it and it just comes apart. 9 times out of 10, the guns are the people you're loading for are fine, but yeah, it does happen. So it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, really. Definitely. And you just touched on double gunning there. For those ladies who don't know, could you just briefly tell us what that entails?
Yeah, so it's my favourite. I love double gunning, much more exciting than stuffing. So basically you have 2 guns. The client will be shooting one and you'll be loading the other. So you take with your left and pass over with your right, so you get a good routine going on with the gun. Can be a bit awkward if they haven't done much double gunning, but when you click with someone, it's great and you can really, really go for it. It just allows them to concentrate more on the shooting aspect than having to break the gun, and you're in sole charge of loading the gun, so it can be much easier for them, and obviously you can let off a few more cartridges. Some people won't agree with that, but I think you can let off a few more cartridges if you're having a big drive or a big day.
It's really great to see someone shooting double guns, isn't it? I remember the first time I shot double guns, I was just an absolute nightmare because every time I took my 2 shots, I'd just automatically break my gun, and my loader was like, "Can you just stop opening your gun?" I was like, "I can't help it."
I always say to someone, if they've never double gunned and they're doing it for the first time, I said, "Right, I guarantee you, the first shot you have, you will break the gun."
Yeah.
No, I won't.
It's just like reaction, isn't it?
It is. But once you get into the swing of it, it's great.
Yeah, it gets quite fluid, doesn't it? And it's
until you get a left-hander, and then you have to do everything backwards.
Like a left-hander that can't help but open. Nightmare. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so for those ladies who are perhaps thinking about getting into loading, they might be really inspired by you. I know I am. What would you say to them, and what kind of route would you suggest they take?
I would say, firstly, it'd be great to have more lady loaders out there. Some estates absolutely love it. I tend to be there's only a few lady loaders that I know, so it would be great if we could get more ladies out there. Yeah. First thing you'd have to be fairly confident with guns to begin with. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily for a novice, but if it's something you're interested in, do one of those courses. I think they're only a day, and then if you beat or pick up at a certain shoot that have loaders or might use loaders, go and have a chat with the shoot host or the keeper. That's how I started. I went straight to one of the head keepers one of the lodges I used to work at, and he was brilliant, and he just gave me the opportunity, and it's snowballed from there, really. So you just need one nice person to say, yeah, and then you go from there.
And I guess if people don't know any head keepers, like say for instance those girls that live in like towns or cities, they could always just load for a friend, couldn't they? Or
Of course, yeah.
to have people come along and load for me if they'd like to.
And that's a good way of getting into it, actually, because if you're with a friend, it makes it much more relaxed. Yeah, that's a good idea. If you've got a friend that's maybe done a bit of shooting and wants a loader or just someone there to carry their cartridges, it's a great way to start, because if you've never been on a game day, it can introduce it to you nicely. Or find a local shoot and start beating. A lot of people get into it that way. Because you can get to know everyone and go from there, really.
Brilliant, yeah. And I guess people can find local shoot. You can find them on Facebook in our members group.
Yeah, Guns on Pegs.
Google, yeah.
And there's a lot, depending on where you live, there's a lot of sporting agents who will also help. I've got quite a few jobs through different agents who need instructors or need loaders. So if you put yourself forward to them, they can often help you. And they're willing to help as well.
Yes. Excellent. Oh, that's amazing. So finally, what advice would you give to women who are out in the field for the first time this season? Have you got any kind of like little gems of kind of like nuggets of experience or any top tips?
Yeah, have fun. That is the most important thing. Take it all in, listen. At the beginning, most shoots will give you a little chat, talk you through everything. 9 times out of 10, there'll be a shoot host. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask. If you're not sure about something, just ask away. It's great to see more people get into the shooting. Safety. If you're not sure about a certain bird, don't shoot. It's the easiest rule to remember. If you're not 100%, don't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And even if someone goes, "Oh, what was wrong with that?" It doesn't matter. If you weren't comfortable, there's no point shooting.
Nice.
Yeah. And just enjoy it, really. If you your first bird's always the most exciting. I don't know if you remember your first.
Yeah,
bird.
I do.
Yeah. And make sure you remember it. Take lots of pictures. And everyone's so friendly on shoots. They're all from the beaters to the picking up team. Everyone's there to have a good day. So just enjoy it.
Yeah, that's such important advice, because I think as women, some of us, not kind of generally speaking, we can get a bit like, oh god, we just don't want to get it wrong, and we get so kind of wound up in the details. It's like actually we forget to enjoy it. So that's so important. I just said that.
And it is nerve-wracking. It's really nervous. I still get nervous on the first day of loading again, because you're stood on your peg going, oh, can I remember how to do this? It will just, you won't think about it. When the first bird comes over, it'll all be natural, and then everyone it'll be great. Yeah. So just most important thing, enjoy it. Brilliant.
Oh, thank you. This has been so good, Hattie. It's been like such a pleasure to have you on, and I know that so many ladies are going to really get so much out of this. So if any of the ladies would like to perhaps come and have a lesson with you, or have you as their lovely loader in the field, or if they just want to follow you online, like how do they get in touch?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram.
What's your Instagram name?
Just Hatty Hosegood.
So I'll link to that.
Yeah, and I've got I use my Instagram for all my shooting. So if you've got a day that you think actually I'd feel much more comfortable having a lady with me, because a lot of ladies do prefer having a lady, they feel a bit more comfortable, drop me a message and I'll let you know if I'm free. I'll travel, I'll go anywhere.
Brilliant.
So and if you fancy a lesson, I'm based in Somerset and Gloucestershire. So again, I'll travel. I'm freelance, so Instagram or Facebook.
Brilliant. Oh, this has been so good. Yeah, I can't wait to see you soon.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.